What's up, buddy?
Hey, Mark, how's it going, man?
I'm going to tell you here in a second. Just checking my weather. It's not going very good.
Damn. Thanks so much for being a member for 24 months, my friend.
Hey, what can I do? What can I say? I support our cause.
There you go.
And if you guys are listening to this and in chat and you want to join, we got links in the description. I made sure to put them on there.
Absolutely.
It's very much appreciated to have you guys support the channel. So
that's fine.
What a crazy week, Lyle.
Oh, dude. Hey, just so you know, I walked in the house a while ago. It was 72 degrees.
What, today?
Just now.
It's 34 degrees here.
It's what?
34 degrees.
Brr.
Hold on. No, I'm sorry. I got that wrong. 35. Take a look. Look at that. 35 degrees.
Oh, my computer said it's dropped to 68, but it was 72 when I come in.
That's insane. I'm tired of it. I've been so darn busy. I went fishing on Friday. Now, let me tell you my fishing story.
All right.
Well, let's go before Friday. Thursday, I went bank fishing, right? And I was banging those banks so hard everywhere. I was fishing docks over where I'm not supposed to fish docks. I was fishing a couple of other spots. I know that I've caught some fish. I caught some little baby bluegill, nothing. I was so mad because I'm having a hard time finding crappie. And I go bushwhacking to the other side of this bay through all this thick stuff. And it was literally 34 degrees that day for sure. And I got a tick, Lyle.
Oh.
I couldn't believe it. And not like on my bald head, nowhere there. We're talking, it got down my ice fishing jacket, down my hoodie, and I had one of those neck things on, right, just to keep my neck from getting cold in case I pulled my hoodie off. And it still found its way in there, and that thing, overnight, the thing got monstrous because I didn't catch it. It was the size of a raisin plump, and it just fell
off. It was a long winter, man. He was hungry.
Oh, that was ridiculous. Oh, my goodness. But 34 degrees, what? I don't know. So
you gotta watch them things, though, dude. You really do. But was the grass tall where you was at?
No, it wasn't. There's no grass. Grass is still brown around here. It hasn't even turned green yet.
Oh, no. People been mowing for 2 or 3 weeks here. Maybe longer.
Well, that's okay. I'd rather not mow.
Hey, Greg. Welcome, buddy.
I should.
No kidding.
I wish I had that. I hope he's listening because it's a waste of a burn. But I wish I had that Chad Fields money. I'd hire a permanent whole landscape crew, groundskeepers.
I understand completely. I really, really do.
But that don't work that way that don't work that way around here.
So
it is what it is.
Just to let everybody know, Monday night on Catfish Weekly, we found out that Chad's wife Dee is doing really well with her surgery, and everybody's happy about that.
That's awesome. I meant to give Chad a message and ask him about that, and just haven't had a chance. So thanks for filling me in. And hopefully Chad's listening, or Dee, either or. Hopefully they're home by now, and we're happy to hear that. My wife went through the similar type of things, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, but still, nobody likes to see the person you care about suffer in any way.
That's right. Doesn't matter.
Anyway, so I went fishing this Sunday too, but I got out in a boat. Lyle, that was a long, cold, dreary, fruitless day. It was horrible. Guess what the water temp was?
39.
44 degrees, close enough. Wasn't nothing moving. I fished for like 7 hours, not even a bite. I got two walleye bites. No, that's I'm lying. I forgot. I got 2 walleye bites out by the dam. I was fishing about 24 feet of water on a 14-foot ledge that's right in front of the dam. Water's up, like I mentioned on Monday, about 2 feet on my river, which is pretty much a 50% gain where I kind of noticed it. So normally 4 feet, and it was 6 feet at that spot. So that's a big rise for us, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I was able to get right out in front of the dam, and the current was just so bad I couldn't get any big. I had 1 ounce jig heads I was using to try and get the plastics down to the bottom, and I was rolling them down like a 14-foot ledge, and I got hit twice and off the off a seam, a current seam, and that's the best I can do. Other than that, after that, I'm like, I'm out of here. I saw 2 other guys fishing on the river. I was talking to them, and they didn't catch anything either. So if fishing don't straighten out around these parts, I'm gonna have to start traveling a little bit more, which you guys know how much I'd love to do, which I don't.
I do know. Mark, I was out one day last week, and it was windier than hell and cold. But when it's windy, if it's cooling on that water, you get cold anyhow. And it was a horrible day. I mean, you couldn't stay put where you wanted, and couldn't catch any fish to mount anything. And I would just, after a couple 3 hours of that or 4, I just said to hell with it and come home. But we've had so much rain and wind that it's unbelievable, and all the lakes and the rivers was bank full, and the lakes around here, the big ones and small ones, all that are real muddy, and fishing was really tough for a few days. You catch 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, something like that, but you wouldn't do any better. And yesterday I tried a new lake that you can drive all the way around, so you don't have to walk much, and they keep it mowed.
Mhm.
It's a city lake, and I heard that you could catch quite a few fish in there, and I went up there and I caught 1 fish, 1 bluegill, and he wasn't big enough for me to put in my tank to keep, and I was so disappointed. And today I got out and I knew where there was a creek at, and I wanted to go check it out because the last time I went by there, the water was running over the little bridge and it was just rocking. Well, still wasn't fishable. It's still too high. So I had another place that I thought about going. I want to try to catch a creek jug, and I never did find that road. I don't know how I'm missing it, whatever it is, but I'll go back and try to find it again. But I just, I had to catch a fish. I had to. So I went to the place that I've been to several times before, and I went over there and I was looking for bluegill, of course, and right off the bat caught 2 or 3 crappie. And there was another gentleman there, and he was crappie fishing. I give them to him, and I caught some bluegill finally, some nice ones. And I thought, why am I giving him crappie away? I can eat them too. So after that, I started putting them in. Now I've got them out there in my live tank now, in the back of my truck. Figure out what I'm going to do. But them crappie, I'm eating them. That's always good. Bluegill, I got my son Marky is fishing this weekend, and of course he works every day, so he don't have any bait. So I may donate them to bait. Yeah, there's a few ones I caught today.
There you go, bud. I loaded them up so you can share them out. So
pretty nice mess of fish there, and I caught a couple of crappie bigger than that. That one wasn't too bad. The next one is a pretty good gill.
these are the last 3 that you sent me. These are the only ones I got loaded up. So
okay. Well, I caught one bluegill that was bigger than that, and the last fish I caught was probably 11.5 or 12-inch crappie. It was a really good crappie for that one. Because it's fished really hard, but it's easy walking. You go down there and you walk down and get on the dock. It ain't no wonder James and Katie fish them conservation lakes like they do, because you don't have to traipse through the woods like you did. You just go down there, and there's not always fish around them docks, but there's fish somewhere in that area. Usually you get pretty good deal.
yeah, I've been fishing all the conservation areas or the forest preserve places. There's still some parts that nobody goes to, and I found out why that was myself. So
Yeah,
it was pretty thick. My buddy JT over at Port Barrington Marina, who's kind enough to sponsor my fishing endeavors again this year. So a big shout out to JT. Thank you very much. He's like, you know what? If you're having a hard time, go back to his pond. He's got a pond in the back there. He says the bluegill are starting to bite back there. So he says when the bluegills start, it's usually about 2 to 3 weeks after that the river starts heating up. So
I wonder that's what I was getting ready to say. I bet the water temperature is warmer in his pond.
Oh yeah,
And it's
100%. He's got it aerated too. He's got one of those old windmill aerators. It's got a windmill that powers a
yep,
compressor pump, and
that's cool.
he's got it all set up. And he set his dad set that up real nice back there, just so his granddaughter could fish in that little pond. So she goes back there quite a bit.
That's awesome. Ray Smith, thank you so much, old buddy. We appreciate you being here and watching us every week. It means a lot.
So other than that, been kind of just busy doing family stuff. I'm not going to say unfortunate, because I'm still fortunate able to do things that are requested of me. So fishing
Absolutely.
kind of had to wait, but we're going to have to jump on that every chance I get this year. So it's going to be hard to get anything planned out or anything. So
I understand. But we, things are going to get better, and they will be things will slack off a little bit, and everybody kind of get back to normal, and we'll all be happier when that happens. But it's still spring, so we're going to get wind yet. We're going to get rain, and you know me, if it's real windy, I ain't going, and if it's raining real hard, I'm not going. But it is what it is.
Yeah, again, I worked outside for 15 years, and I see Creoles in chat. I know he works outside now,
Yes,
but
he does.
I had enough of that getting snowed on and getting rained on to last me a while. If I get caught out there, I get caught out there, so be it. But I'm not going to purposely go out there and fish in the rain unless it's a tournament or something, which isn't something that I normally do.
Speaking of tournaments, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but our old buddy Stan Smith is having a panfish tournament Saturday. And I believe it's a 2-hour tournament. Eastern time is 11 to 1, I think. So it would be, 10 to 12 for me.
And when is it?
Saturday.
Oh, this Saturday.
This Saturday. The last I knew, if anybody in chat that's watching the show tonight is interested, that he still had a few spots open. Now, I don't know that 100%, but you can contact Stan, and he'll let you know if it is. And I got a hang. I haven't fished any tournaments for quite a while, so I decided that I was going to enter. And I thought, well, damn, I wonder if I can have a joke. So I got a hold of Stan, and he said, well, yeah. So my old buddy James Dockery decided he would joey with me. I said, well, James, you can fish this tournament with me. You're separate, but in the same boat. You can fish and I can fish. We both will have the camera on. It doesn't matter. So he's agreed to fish it with me.
Oh, that's splendid. I didn't even know he was having a panfish tournament. I might have gotten in on some of that.
Well, you still can, but Dockery and I in the same boat together in this tournament, fishing against each other. I don't think anybody else is going to matter. So if you guys
better have the mute button ready for you two guys. I know that for a fact.
I'm thinking that it'll be very entertaining. James and I will have a great time if we don't catch a fish. I mean, but yeah, it'll be a fun time. Even if it's only for a couple hours, it's a point deal. I don't know a whole lot about it. You're only allowed to use one rod at a time. And it's a point deal. Bluegill are 1 point, crappie and bass are 5 points each.
You guys need to stick to fishing docks if you're going to get in a tournament like this. That's just my opinion.
Well, we have a dock in mind, but they don't allow you to walk out on it and fish anymore. So I have a boat, and they have a ramp.
Well, there you go. That's what I did that one day where I fished where I kind of wasn't supposed to. You can't walk in there because I got it all blocked off, but there's nothing that says you can't park your boat there and fish.
That's right. Exactly. 100% correct. And I'm all over that because, I like to fish. I like to catch fish. And, Mark, a couple of hoodlums that I know, Josh and Chad, have been on me forever that I don't fish it. I fish nearly every day.
That's more than they have all year combined.
Oh, I fished more in the last 3 weeks than they have since the beginning of the year. I guarantee it.
I think the only one fishing more than you is probably Jerry Parker.
If Jerry Parker's not working, he's kind of on that riverbank. And man, did you see the last one he got?
It was what, 85?
Yeah, 80 something. Yeah.
Jerry's how big was it, Jerry? That big behemoth? I know exactly where he caught that too. He explained to me that the reason I didn't catch anything when I was there is because I was there at the wrong time of the year, which makes a lot of sense. What do you say? I say hello to everybody in chat with that. Because people are coming in and backing out and listening to us, not chatting. So we want to make sure we catch them before you leave. I see the ladies over at Benoit Fishing Outdoors. Hi, Gabby and Allison. How you two doing? Hopefully everything's great. There's Bugman22. What's up, Buggy? How you doing? Catfish Cowboys here. There's our buddy Jeremy over at Creole Catfishing. Jeremy, I kind of scrubbed through your last cooking video. That was always good to see you in the cage see you in that cage and kitchen of yours, because it made me hungry.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out.
All I had was cheese and crackers. I had to watch him cooking all that. Greg Burgess in the house. What's up, Greg? This is my buddy Lance. How you doing, Lance? Lance, I was going to try and get out Friday, but my family put a stop to that. Go do some coho fishing. They finally got the docks, and we'll talk about that afterwards. Mike Sampson in the house. He was the first one in. What's up, Sampy? How you doing, sir? There's our buddy Jerry Parker. How you doing, Jerry? I might go down and visit him to do a little crappie fishing this spring. Maybe I'll let you know, and you can meet me down there, Lyle.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Down in Rend Lake, so hopefully we can get that done. Schmieder the Cedars in the house. What's up, Mr. Schmieder? How you doing? And we got more people that were in here that are probably just sitting back and listening. You guys are always welcome to chime in as you like, for sure.
That's right.
So and a little bit about...
If you want in chat, folks, just you have to subscribe. And you can get in chat and be a part of this. It doesn't cost you anything. You just click a button, and then you're in. You don't have to pay the membership fees or anything to be in chat, but then you can visit with all the people that are already in chat and send us messages that we can see and do that. So at least consider it.
Lyle, did you see the poll I put up in chat here?
I missed it, I guess.
I asked the people to please hit that thumbs up first off. And then I asked them what's most important. Snacks are more important, or teepee is more important to bring with you fishing? What's your vote?
I've got to go with the snack.
You know, you eat too many snacks, you're going to need teepee. That's for sure.
You're correct about that.
You know what they say about shrimp, right? What comes from the ocean's got to go back to the ocean, if you know what I mean.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. I hadn't heard that. It makes perfect sense to me. Jerry said he caught an 85-pound, a couple in the 50s, and several others that day.
That's crazy.
That's doing a job.
My flathead season hasn't even started yet. I've seen two come out of the river here, and both of those were caught on guys that were bass fishing. That's all I know of. Other than that, I haven't even seen too many channel cats getting posted or anything. You know, I didn't even see that many on my side scan when I was hitting the river hard in my boat. And I fished solid the upper 8 miles of that river, pretty much from inlet to inlet, because that's where you want to fish this time of year. Fish some channels, all that stuff, and just wasn't happening. I marked some fish in the channels. And when I say channels, I'm talking about like the canals that people have cut into their neighborhoods so they can get their boats by their houses.
Damn it, Mark. You talking about that tick. I feel something.
Talking about the what?
That tick. It feels like something's crawling on me.
You're going to make me itchy and scratchy.
Oh, my God.
Look at this. Bugman says, I can always cut the bottom of my t-shirt off for TP, but not to eat. Well,
I thought that's what underwear was for, or pants pockets.
All right. You know how I like to do my little ninja fishing tips? Here's going to be one for the night, Lyle. You ready?
I'm ready.
I used to fish with a bunch of my Hispanic buddies and their elderly father, right? The guy did not, I'll tell you a story about that. He didn't care for me too much at all. And
Okay.
he used to tell us, always wear two pairs of socks when you're fishing. And you can guess exactly why that would be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But let me tell you a story about how I knew he didn't like me, bud. We were out stocker trout fishing one time, and he's doing this voodoo magic. I think he's a voodoo guy or something, right? And he's blessing everybody's fishing poles with long reeds, right? Like cattails almost before they were done. And he's doing his voodoo thing. He's working down the line, skipped over my fishing poles and did the ones on the other side of mine. So he blessed everybody's poles except mine. That rascal.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah. Did you catch the most fish that day?
I didn't, but I kind of made it up to him because I always brought him perch whenever I'd get some. So me and him kind of get along pretty good these days. I haven't seen him in a little while. He had a work accident, so unfortunately he'd lost an arm because of it, unfortunately. So I haven't had a chance to see him lately. But Jesse, if you're out there, I doubt he's listening. But if Damien, if you're listening, man, shout out to your dad.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, so that was just something that came to mind. That two sock thing reminded me of him, and how they used to haze me into the clan over there is pretty crazy.
Hey, David Smith, welcome. Kevin Capel, welcome. We, emergencies happen, and you use what you got. It's just the way it is. Period.
I brought this in when I was taking the photo for the thumbnail. You got to bring some of these. These were even wipes.
You can wipe your hands on them, but there is other places that they work really well.
They absolutely do. And there's nothing like a fresh and clean hiney to make your fishing day more comfortable.
You know what Chad says all the time, don't you?
What?
You know what Chad says all the time, don't you?
What's that?
Shiny hiney, shiny hiney.
He loves his shiny hiney. So yeah, that was one of the things that's in that thumbnail. Those things come in pretty handy. I pick them up off of Amazon a few. So that's what I usually take. Not just because it works better than toilet paper or anything, because it takes it takes up less space in the boat for sure.
Right.
And you can use them to get, bait slime or those snot rockets that you love so much called pike. God. Get that slime off your hands. They work really well.
One of the things that I take religiously is being a sausage. And a lot of people don't like it. And I don't care if they don't. I do. And they're very easy to pack around. If it's cool in the morning and you just set them in the windshield of your boat or where the sun can hit it, and they'll warm up. And a couple of them cans of them will take good care of you. You don't have to worry about them getting wet or potato chips bags tearing open and losing them all. None of that stuff happens. And being a diabetic, that's a free food for me. It helps me maintain where I need to be, but it doesn't send me off the deep end one way or the other. So if you like something like that, they work out really well. But there's a lot of other things. Beef jerky is something that works really well in the boat too. I love that. Leftover chicken, cold chicken. I would just as soon eat cold fried chicken as I would hot fried chicken. Either way, doesn't make any difference to me. I'm really not a chicken fan, but in the boat, after you've been out there for 4 or 5 hours, it really don't matter whether you like it or not. You want to eat something.
I think any leftovers you got, whether it's from the day before or earlier, I've brought, I've had leftover, believe it or not, bacon, Lyle. And the only reason why, the only reason why I buy those packets of right bacon, which is 1.5 pounds of bacon, thick cut bacon, right? And what I do is I'll sprinkle some barbecue seasoning on them. The current stuff that I like a lot, I forget who makes it, but it's honey jalapeno barbecue seasoning, and I sprinkle that on bacon before I pop it in the oven, and the stuff's good. And a pound and a half of bacon. I could probably go through it if I really wanted to, but that's quite a bit for me. I don't want to feel bad or anything. So I'll stick it in the fridge and either rewarm it up the next day for breakfast, or I will take it with me like I'll do fishing. So I'll just throw it in a baggie and take that with me. As long as it's coming straight out of the fridge, you don't have to worry about it going rancid. So
that's right.
You know, if you leave it sitting out on a countertop, it'll last for a couple hours at the most, but I wouldn't take it with you, or I wouldn't eat it sitting on the counter all day. That fat and anything, even fat and homemade beef jerky, you think beef jerky would last a long time because you smoke it or dehydrate it. I smoke all my beef jerky that I make. It'll go rancid sitting on the counter after a few days. It'll last a lot longer than most other stuff because there's still no additives in it though, so it'll go bad. So just keep that in mind when you're bringing leftovers with you on the boat for sure.
I see JG Hill has made it in chat. Welcome, my friend.
I saw David Smith too. What's going on, David? How you doing, sir?
But yeah, there's a lot of snacks you can take. The little cheese and cracker things that comes in a little 4 and 6 pack. They're really good. You know, if they get mashed up or nothing, just open the end of it up. Pour it in.
You know what you could do, Lyle, is you get that cheese in a can, the aerosol cheese.
Yeah.
Smush up them crackers, pour them in your mouth, and give yourself a shot of cheese, and you're good to go, man. It don't get no better than that.
My kids used to do that with Cool Whip.
Sheila does that to the dogs with whipping cream all the time. They
really
love. Oh yeah, I should say.
Oh, I'll bet they do love it.
Sometimes I think she likes going to that silly old Starbucks coffee place just to get them a pub cup while they're in the car.
Wow.
She spoils them worse than me.
Damn.
Jerry Parker's got a comment. He says, learn your trees and undergrowth species. That'll work as well in emergency. I think he's talking about the TP.
I think he is. And if it has 3-fingered leaves, you best leave that alone.
Probably a good idea. And if it's got how many? Wait, 5 leaves? Is that the one you smoke, Lyle?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, sorry. My mind's wandering like it always does. Here's something, I had this idea a long time ago, and I saw Dan over at Goober Time Guide Service do this on his boat, is get one of those jet boils, right? Which are those camping stoves that heat water super fast.
Okay.
There's no reason why you can't throw a package of ramen in there and have something hot on those cold days that you're out there fishing, for sure.
I'll tell you, I'm not a big ramen noodle person, but they make these little packages that come with all kinds of stuff in them. I don't know how to say this because there's so many different ones, but they're Korean barbecue, or
you're talking about like the camping food. Like one brand that's probably the biggest brand out there is they had a Mountain House. They make the dehydrated meals.
Yeah, that's what these are.
Yeah, those would work good for sure. Hey, what's going on, 205? Those work good too, and they don't taste half as bad. But if you got one of those jet boils, there's no reason why you can't have the equivalent of a high dollar MRE. There's another one you could bring out on the boat too. If you want to spend the money, go out there and get yourself an MRE, which is the Army rations. Matt, what's going on, bud? How you doing?
Hey, Matt.
He would know all about them. Those would work too, and they'd last a long time. If you bought a case of those, I'd keep them in the house. I wouldn't put them out in the garage where it gets hot.
I don't know. I've never ate one of those, but I know my son Tony come back from the military, and he had a whole bunch of them. He said they was fabulous.
Really?
But Tony is an eater, so
Wait, I got to do something here. Did you see that comment by Miss Fancy Pants over there? Hold on a second. Let me do this here. There we go. All right, there you go. Jody, welcome to the show, and there's your first 10-second time out of the night, buddy.
He said that was an accident. Welcome in, Jody.
The second time she did that. That's better.
Mark. Oh man, it's gonna be a fun night.
I guess so. So there's those dehydrated hiking things work pretty good. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Obviously, I actually had a TikTok that did pretty well where I was talking about fish and snacks, and what I did is I just threw some Oscar Mayer bologna on a hamburger bun I had in the house left over and took that with me. It wouldn't be the first time that I've done stuff like that. So,
Yep. Schmieder of the Cedar says Little Debbie's and a Ziploc full of wet wipes. Good idea, buddy. Good idea.
yeah, that's another thing those dude wipes are good for. They act just like wet wipes, so you get to wipe your food out too. Accident.
Jody, I don't care if it's an accident or not. It's still funny to me.
Yeah, stop it, Lyle. Don't you have bass to target this week?
I'm not trying to encourage her whatsoever.
No, of course not.
Whoop. This is one I wanted. Matt says Mountain Trail Mix, do perfect. Sounds good to me.
I love trail mix. It's for some reason Walmart sells a brand. I want to say it's Carl's with a K. You get like 30 packs for like $16. They're single serving packs. They're decent sized ones. When I bring those with me, I'll have a pack or two in the boat. Actually, I always have them in the boat. They'll satiate you, which is the $10 word of the day here. That means it'll satisfy your hunger and keep you from going hungry for quite some time.
Yep.
I don't eat the raisins or the M&Ms. I actually either give them to whoever else is in the boat or throw them over the side because the more I do to control my blood sugar, the better off I am. So, but yeah, definitely. Those are pretty good. They got sunflower seeds in them too, which are one of my favorites, Lyle.
Absolutely. I see Two Stands Fishing has joined chat. We was just talking about your upcoming tournament. And very excited for that. I really am. What did Jody say?
What's up, Stan? How you doing, bud? Jody says, Lyle looks great tonight, but Mark looks like a brown paper bag.
Well,
they don't use brown paper bags anymore. That tells you how old and ancient Jody is because she remembers the brown paper bags.
I'm not getting into this with you two now. I'm just not. I don't, Stan, I went through the stuff that I could remember about your tournament. I'm not really up to speed on everything. I assume you will have information about that on your Friday night show. Mark didn't even know you was having one, so we put the word out about it. And it's one pole, and it's a point system. 1 point for bluegill, 5 points for crappie, and 5 points for bass. If there's anything else that we need to share about that, please let me know.
You can always post the information too on the Panfish Nation Facebook page as well.
Man, big bag of trail mix you buy at Sam's is great. That sounds good to me.
Trail mix is one of my go-tos. That and beef jerky. Yeah, I almost clicked on that. I was going to ban her, but since you clicked on it, I won't. Jody says, Mark, did you get a job at UPS?
Matt says stop using brown paper bags when the Cubs fans brought them for all the games and put on their head. Oh, Matt, that's awesome, man. Oh, God, that's so funny.
I used to like Matt. Now let's talk about. All right, we're not going to go there. Don't say it, Mark. Don't say it.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
I'm nothing but nice to these people, Lyle. And look at the grief they gave me. Oh, look, here's Lisa over Burrito Catfish Lady. She says, "Watch out, that Mark is a stalker." Quit that.
They love you, man. I can tell.
Stan's got my back.
I hope.
So other things that we need to bring on the boat that you we're talking snacks. What else do you guys like to bring snack wise? Jody, we already talked about toilet paper, which covers your end of it. Well, if you're bringing the toilet paper, if you don't want to hang it off the side of the boat, folks, you got to bring one of them buckets if you don't have a built-in bathroom on your boat like some people do.
Dad in his crapper in his boat. Yeah.
He's got a boat crapper?
No, he don't. But that was one of the stipulations I told him he needed when he bought his new boat. I said,
the one he showed us way back when had
a crapper.
It almost had him. He was almost talked into buying it too. That took forever.
Yeah, we worked on it pretty hard. Setting hooks and crossing eyes. Welcome to chat. There's Candy always.
What's going on, Ryan? River temp was 46 degrees on Sunday, bud.
I'm not a big sweet person. I eat sweets, but not to an extent I want a whole bunch of them. I don't know why. It just never was a big deal to me.
I am a sucker for powdered donuts. Those are one of my favorites. I ain't gonna lie. I was streaming late one night, and Kenny accused me of sitting on my powdered donuts, and that kind of stuck. So if I ever have them on a live stream, people ask me to sit on them for some reason. I don't know why. Jody's I hung it over one time, never again. Oh, there's so many stories.
Oh man. In cold weather, it definitely helps to bring either a thermos of hot soup or be able to heat water or the rum.
Yep. Like we were talking about one of those jet boils. Those work pretty good. Yeah, we were talking about how Dan uses that, Stan. That's a great idea.
Hey, Guerrero, welcome, buddy. That is a great idea. Does anybody besides me still have one of the old Coleman camp stoves?
No.
Because you know what? They don't take up a lot of space, and they're reliable. They work.
I got a single burner one. I got a single burner one that takes up very little space, but I just use that for coffee whenever we'd go up to Mendota or when I'd be camping and fishing at the same time, which would work pretty well on a boat, I imagine, because it is only just a one burner. And rather than using those 1 pound propane tanks, it uses the aerosol cans of butane that just kind of pop in there. Those work pretty good too, but I haven't got that fancy. I really am thinking about getting one of them jet boils though for the boat. I think that would be the way to do it.
I still actually have the Coleman stove that uses like that.
Yeah, those are good. So
Matt's got one. Used to be his grandfather.
Matt says, "Sorry, Mark. I thought you were a White Sox fan." Well, I am on the Sox team. I'm not a big fan of the Cubs. So
who is? Somebody.
Chad.
Ed, yeah, he is.
Spencer is.
Spencer don't count. I mean, anybody that run around with a Cubs hat on his head all the time, got to be something wrong with that boy. Holy crap.
Matt says, I got an old Coleman camp stove. My grandfather gave it to me. Yeah, they keep on ticking.
I think they still make them, actually.
Jody says, I like getting a large order of chips, salsa, white queso to eat on a boat if she's staying out all night.
That all sounds good to me.
Man,
does she put it in a cooler? I would think you'd have to, wouldn't you?
I have no idea.
I really don't know.
Well, Jody's not like the best chef in the world, so she doesn't know to keep that food safe. So
she did win the fish cook-off.
I have questions about that I was kind of too nice to bring up at the time.
Matt says the White Sox are losing to the Cleveland Indians right now, if you're wondering.
No, I'm not really wondering. So yeah, like I said, mostly it's leftovers. There's no reason why I won't put like a one of those just the disposable Tupperware containers, which I use quite a bit for more than just food. Any kind of storage ideas and stuff. They work well if you don't want to go out and spend the tall dollars on like any other storage containers. They work pretty good for knickknacks and terminal tackle. And what I use, the one I have in my boat for mostly is for bobbers, aka floats, because they're hard to fit in one of those tackle storage boxes. So
right. Hey, Jason Lamb has joined us. Welcome, my friend.
What's up, Jason? How you doing, bud? Jody says she likes bologna and hot dogs.
I'm not a bologna fan. I can eat it, but hot dogs I dearly love.
Bologna is just hot dog pancakes, Lyle. I don't care what anybody says.
I think you're right. Made out of the same stuff, pretty much. You know, a guy told me one time, if you ever read the ingredients on a hot dog, you never eat one. Hell, it never even slowed you down.
They got everything from the rooter to the tutor, and on a chicken and a pig. What
That's
else? What
right.
other animals do you throw in there?
Everything they scrape off the floor, but I'm telling you, some of the best food you can get is a hot dog at the St. Louis Cardinal Busch Stadium. They are fabulous. I love them.
This could explain a lot about Jody. She says, my favorite is dipping a chunky chocolate chip cookie in a Jello chocolate and vanilla pudding cup.
Holy crap.
Well, that sugar will pickle your brain, Jody, if it
That's
has
a lot
to.
of sugar. Hell, y'all try that for bait. Much sugar as that is, that's sent travel.
David Smith says, the Slim Jim beef stick and cheese combo packs are some and some crackers are good. 100%.
Yeah, that's great stuff right there. Cheese and crackers is a great. I don't care. It's just good.
It's my go-to thing here. Here's another one. Something that I kind of like, a guilty pleasure of mine. Do you know what a tostada is, Lyle?
I do.
Well, I'll take like tostada shells and I'll just bring cheese and tostada shells once in a while. Throw like 3 or 4 of them into a plastic baggie and some American cheese, and that's a quick snack right there. You can't go wrong.
Yep, that's fact.
All right, so what other kind of stuff do you guys like bringing on the boat? I know for the most part you got to have sunglasses, Lyle.
Oh yeah, and an extra hat. You know, you're going to lose a hat once in a while. I have a ammo box, a plastic ammo box that come in a boat that I bought. The guy that I bought it from had 2 of them. And I don't know whatever happened to the other one, but the one that I still got, I have spare sunglasses, spare hat, 2 of them, and just ball caps. And then I have screwdrivers, pair of pliers, and various stuff like that, just in case. You know, I don't plan on having any trouble, but you never know. And that's kind of where I go with that. But it also has a roll of the white stuff, just in case. You know, it's waterproof, so it doesn't get wet.
You know, I have one of those plastic ammo boxes as well in my boat. I think I'll have to throw an extra head in there. It's a good idea. And like this weekend, I especially could have used it because it was cold when I got out there. It was 28 degrees when I got out on the water first thing. I'd worn a toboggan, like some people I call it a beanie or whatever, a stocking cap, just to keep my head warm. And not having a billed hat really made a difference when I was doing 40 miles an hour into the sun. That wasn't fun. So
I bet.
it's when you're going down the
I hate doing that. Yeah.
Rough. What's going on, Dan? We were just talking about you and your jet boil technique, which I so like.
Glad to see you in chat tonight, Dan. You're very welcome.
Jody's going on a weight loss journey this summer. I'm putting an exercise bike in my pontoon boat with rod holders on the handlebars to hold my rods. My new Friday show is called Fatty with a Flatty. I heard rumors that every pound of fish she catches, she's going to ride for 10 minutes on that bike.
I think that to save money, she hooked that up to a prop, and as she pedals, she can motivate.
I would pay to see that.
Yeah, I probably would.
Matt says water and some of those Gatorade electrolyte drinks, maybe some orange juice and some water. Yeah, electrolytes are pretty important. You know, I was reading an article just the other week about how 8 glasses of water isn't necessarily all you need. You need more or less the potassium or the salt that comes with it. So if you can get some of those electrolyte additives for your water, you're going to be in good shape, especially once the weather turns hot. I don't know when that's going to be around these parts, but when it does, it'll definitely help.
Another thing that I like, Mark, is Powerade.
Like what?
Like Powerade. It's like Gatorade, but it's a little bit cheaper. Basically the same thing. And I drink it when it gets hot quite a bit. for that reason. And besides that, it don't taste bad.
Yeah, that Powerade Zero is pretty good. It isn't bad at all.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. Dan says extra dry clothes coat in case you get cold and wet. Good.
Hand warmers. I've said that 100 times. So
Oh, you don't need them today. It's 72 degrees here.
I needed them on Sunday, and I'm glad I had them in the boat. So
I bet you are.
I was happy about that.
Oh man. Dan says the jet boil and grill are part of the weight gain journey. Weight gain journey. Makes all the sense in the world to me. There's Frank with Twisted Fishing TV. Welcome, buddy.
What's going on, Frank? Dan says Stan shows up in shorts in the wintertime. Don't listen to him. Oh, definitely. Here's one that I hold near and dear to my heart is a good bourbon and a great cigar with a beautiful sunset.
It don't get no better than that.
You know, I'm not a proponent of boating under the influence, but if I catch a good fish, I always have one beer in my cooler to celebrate. I always have it on the boat.
That's a great idea. I hadn't thought of that. David Smith said a good selection of tools. Cranking battery was bad when Matt and I was out on the lake and had to switch the cables over to the trolling motor battery to make it off the lake. That's a great idea. It really is. My boat, however, has two batteries in the back for starting motor battery, and there's a Perco switch in it. So if something happens to the one you're using, you just turn the switch to number 2, and you got a fresh battery there, which is really nice. But I run all my electronics off of number 2 and don't have nothing hooked up to number 1. And I should not have battery problems. But of course, as we all know, it happens. And I have had that issue at times. You have space, a little jump box. They make them very small, economical, and you can buy them just about everywhere, or a pair of jumper cables. If you got room for that stuff, it's good to have it in.
Jerry says a multi-tool is a major help always.
I agree.
I carry one with me all the time. Here's Miss Fire Ring herself. In 2 years, Mark has yet to open that celebration beer.
But that baby tasty about now. I'd still drink it. My son Marky come down for Christmas a few years ago, and we'd had a beer that I know had been in that refrigerator for a couple of years at least. And he hadn't stopped and got him anything to drink when he got to the house. And he said, "You got any beer?" I said, "No, I got Krampus." He said, "I kind of want a beer." I said, "The hell, there's a couple in the refrigerator." He said, he went and got it, and it was some kind of commemorative bottle thing. He said, "How old are these?" I don't know. I don't drink them. He didn't bat an eye. He just downed them.
We're gonna have to expand your bourbon, since that Canadian whiskey is going to cost you a heck of a lot more. But we're not going to get in all of that.
I'm pretty sure you're right about that.
A little side note here. That being said, Chad Ferguson from Whisker Seekers made a post today talking about the tariffs and the effects on fishing gear. So that being said, he had mentioned that you might want to get on top of that and restock all your necessities before that happens, and it's very soon in happening. So I'm pretty well stocked up. I don't need much of anything. But if I did, I would use my affiliate code over at Whisker Seeker. See how I snuck that in there, Lyle, of MCC15, and save yourself $15 on stuff like this. Another essential, Lyle. You need a headlight, buddy.
That's nice. I'll tell you what, Mark, after the show and I take Gidget out, we'll get back on here. You can grab your credit card. We'll go shopping.
No. I don't need your help. I may go shopping, but I don't need your help.
You do. Trust me on that.
It's like asking Jody to cook me lunch. Not going to happen.
If she makes fish taste as good as everybody said it was, she can make me lunch.
I'm yeah, sure she made it, Lyle. Keep believing that.
What do you think James done that?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Did you think James done that?
I don't, maybe. Could be.
Oh my.
Ryan says, holy crap from China. Is what's going on to really hurt you. Yeah, that 100%. Everything's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt everywhere. But it is what it is. It's the long game. But anyways, so
That's right. We're looking at the big picture.
Bugman says their website is dangerous. I'm just saying it'll make you mortgage your house. You got to practice self-control. And if you don't, use my affiliate code.
Even if you do use it, it'll save you 15.
Jody said I lied. Okay. Matt says I have a list he's had sitting here for over a year, waiting for Mark to tell me how to send it to him. Keep waiting, Matt. Keep waiting. Jerry says I was creek wading one time in 100-degree weather, had no water, got back to the truck, and there was 2 beers that had been rolling around in the truck bed for so long I couldn't tell. Best beer you ever had. I understand.
Oh man.
Jody's saying something we're not going to read because we don't pay no attention to that. There's a comment from Frank. You were just going to click on that. There you go. You go ahead and read that one because I agree with it.
Frank says, I tried hard to make sure I buy American when I can. So do I, buddy. We need that manufacturing back. Many of my family worked at Zebco in Tulsa before we
offshore.
Offshore. You know, and that's a fact. And I really didn't want to get into this tonight, but I did see where Ford Motor Company's bringing 4 of their factories back to the United States. And that's
they should have never left, if you're asking me. But anyways,
I agree.
But we're not going to get into all of that, are we, Lyle? Because I'm reeling you in like they got to do on Catfish Weekly sometimes.
You don't want to get me started because I like politics.
We're saving that for our other channel, folks. Keep your eye out for 2 jackasses talking politics. That's going to happen here soon. Jody says I farted in a pontoon boat last week on live. Oh no, she says I found a pontoon food boat. I can make a killing at the sandbar selling snacks. Yeah, you'd be killing all right, Jody. Everybody who eats there.
Oh man, Matt, America does have a few companies that make rod blanks, but the people that work in the United States, they want to make a reasonable amount of money so they can live, and then people in China work for $3 a day. So that's different.
We have a local company that makes rods here from start to finish in the United States, right here in Arlington Heights, Illinois. The name of the company is called Grant Rods, and it's Grant with a D in there. And they make, I've seen their rods at shows all over the place. I know a couple of his
good stuff.
Some of his sponsored anglers, great stuff. They use high quality blanks, but man, they sure are proud of it as far as the price comes. And it's hard to justify a $400 and $500 rod. You know,
they're not the only ones that make blanks in the United States, but most of them cannot compete with the China prices, and that's why so many of them are imported. I haven't bought any blanks in a while, but I know they went skyrocketed. So I don't know how they're doing in stores because I usually don't buy store-bought rods. But when I go to buy blanks, you know, one of the better rods that I build, the blanks cost me $100 a pop for them bumping rod blanks, and that's why the guys that are having them made overseas, they can sell them for that or less because they're buying them for $15 a piece built. And when my blank costs $100 and then I got to build it, put all the stuff on it, it ends up being a lot more. But
it's a lot of time.
it's a lot more rod than what you're getting the other way.
Well,
too.
I have a kind of a rule of thumb that when I'm looking to spend money on a rod, do I need to feel the bottom? That's what I go from. That's how sensitive. The more sensitive a rod is, the better you're going to feel the bottom that you're fishing on. If you're bumping for catfish, which I haven't done, but I imagine that's important. If I'm walleye fishing, or drop shot fishing, I need to feel the bottom, make connection with it, and I need that to be communicated through the blank. I think the best way to do that is to get a graphite blank, buy quality stuff, but you're going to pay for it either way. So can you do it? Can you do it with a GX2? You can. Is it going to be as pleasurable or as effective as a high dollar rod? No. That being said, buy what your budget allows for.
That's the whole key is buy the best that you can afford.
Yep.
It's a simple fact. You just buy the best you can afford. And if you want something better, then you just got to save up to get it. That's just the way it goes. But there's the rod quality from these manufacturers overseas has come up. They're still not custom grade. They never will be because, like I say, the guys that build custom rods, they buy a high dollar blank to start with. Something better than no manufacturer will ever use because they cost too much. They can't sell enough of them to justify. I got that. I was in business for my whole life, but when somebody's build you one, it's a specialty thing, and we got access to everything. If I buy them the blanks that they make all these rods overseas at, if I buy them a gross at a time, you would be shocked if I told you what I could get them for. I mean, shocked.
No, because we had this conversation,
Yeah,
and I don't talk about it.
But I won't. I can't put my name on one of them. I don't care what they say or how big a fish has been caught on them. The quality is not good enough for me. Period. And that's just the way it is. And every once in a while somebody will break one that I built, but I think like 6 or 8 in all the years I've been building. I've been building them since 1984. Some of them shut the tailgate, some of them shut the car door. Stuff happens, but it's just they're just good. I mean,
I've done that more than once to like a $150 panfish rod from St. Croix to tailgate or a rod locker door. 100%. Let me read this comment from JG real quick because it kind of made me laugh a little bit. He says, "You will get banned in 2.7 seconds for that show, Mark, but it sounds fun."
Well, we're gonna do something one of these days. People will be shocked, probably.
Frank says bait boat with essential tackle would be a money maker on a lot of lakes. 100%.
It would. Jody might have a great idea there.
We have a couple of pontoon boats that sell snacks and stuff out here on the chain on the weekends, at least. A couple of them have pretty much docked it permanently, but you can still pull up to them. They used to go around and sell stuff like that. So manufacturing coming along with a lot of construction labor. As for warehouse labor, robots, the construction trade is the future. Electrical robotics, programming. Yeah, anything AI. AI is going to pick up the slack in the short of the workforce in this country, which is a good and a bad thing. So prepare for it, folks. That's all I'm going to say.
It's coming. Nothing to do about progress. For a long time, I thought progress was great. Then all of a sudden, I seen what it done to the automotive industry, and I didn't think it was so great anymore because it cost me tons of money every year just to stay above where I could work on the new stuff as it run out the warranty. Now I don't have to do that anymore, so I really don't care.
Here you go. Matt's pushing you to get you a bunch of work, Lyle. It says, if you need an excellent panfish rod or fly rod, head over to Lyle Stokes.
Thank you, Matt. I'm glad he enjoys that fly rod. I really do. But yeah, Rain Shadow Blanks, they're pretty good. They're definitely in the top 3 of places to buy them. But to do that, you either got to go through somebody else or you got to be direct with them, which I
have no problem using cheaper rods for cheaper.
I don't either.
You know, I don't mind using cheaper rods for catfish if I'm not bumping. I don't mind using cheaper rods for catching bait, but anything else than that, I'll spend a little bit of money to make myself happy. So.
I will tell you, Mark, I bought a few ultralights. I was looking for a blank that I wanted to build on. And most of the time, when I find something like that, I can tear it apart and find the manufacturing number on it. And then I can go to a supplier and say, hey, I want these blanks or something exactly like them. I use those Berkley, what the hell's the name? They're the red ones, cherrywood. I really, really like those. They're very durable, pretty inexpensive. You can buy them online for around $20. And I like that blank. And I've got a couple of those that I use for pan fishing because I tore two of them apart, destroyed them, had to put them back together. He never did find no numbers on them. They've done a good job of hiding them, or they don't stamp them or something, because I can't figure out who makes that blank. But it's a composite blank with graphite and fiberglass, and it is very durable, pretty sensitive. It's great for pan fishing. Got a lot of action in it. I really like that. It's probably one of my favorite over-the-counter rods to buy. Now, I have some two-piece blanks I got and built for several people, and one of them was Dockery's Krampus Kane thing. They're really good blanks to build on, but then again, you know, they're a little more expensive. So, but pan fishing, I like graphite pretty much.
It doesn't hurt. Anything that's going to give you less stress and fatigue if you're spending a lot of time out there doing it. So, and it's got to be able to withstand hitting the top of a roof dock too.
I know a guy that does that. I know a guy. We'll get to that later. Be sure to stay tuned till the end. We'll get to that later.
All right. Buggy says he has everything and he's talking about fishing gear. Yeah, I'm pretty much set. Anything I have now is probably just a little extras. And I do need a few more plastics. I do need some colored, some colored bucktail I need to order, Lyle, for next spring. But other than that, I'm in good shape as far as that goes.
Like
no, I need pink. I need pink and green. I need black.
Yeah, I gotta get some of that stuff one of these days.
I gotta get some of that stuff. So that chartreuse.
Mark, right now, what's been working for me on bluegill and crappie is a blackhead jig with yellow buck. Worked all afternoon today. So,
I'm sure that yellow looks chartreuse underwater, to be honest. Once you get at a certain
depth. I don't know, but an old man told me years ago, you can use any color to catch bluegill and crappie that you want as long as
it's gold jig heads and red plastics usually a killer bait for me as far as bluegills go, especially during in cold water. They work really well, and I think that's just because they emulate a minnow underwater. So
that's correct. Matt says he needs some walleye. Well, of course, when you go out in the boat, you want to take plenty of extras of everything: hook, line, sinkers, jigs. Of course, I don't know anybody that's got jigs. I've probably got 10,000 of the damn things made up. Plus, I have plastics also, and I have Berkley Gulps. I've yet to catch it. Well, I have caught fish.
You're not trying. You're busy using your hand ties. Quit lying.
I do, but I did try the Gulps, and I caught fish on them this spring. Bluegill. Went to town on them babies. Now, I tried one today, and I didn't do any good on it, but I got pissed off because I hung up on a limb underneath the water, and I just put it down and grabbed another rod. I mean, I walked down that dock. I'm taking 3 with me, period.
Lyle, anything else you need to bring on the boat before we turn the lights off for the week?
I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other stuff, but this will be a good start for everyone.
I'm going to show this because I like these little nicotine patches. They work. We'd mentioned cigars, so I'm going to mention these. I usually take these with me on the boat. They help me from partaking in the other habit, dirty habit that I way go overboard when I'm fishing. So that's definitely a good thing to do. So if you have that issue, those are definitely will help you. And I got to give Hogleg credit on that because I know he used those to quit, so they work pretty good. Other than that, it's been Guerrero says, I've been fishing over 50 years. Never have I used flies for walleye. Let me explain this real quick before we go.
Sure.
Walleye flies are like a number 2 or number 1 Aberdeen hook, and all you do is tie some bucktail on it. No weight on the head or anything, and you tie them 1 and 2 to like a Kentucky type rig with a bell weight at the bottom or a dropper, a drop shot weight at the bottom, and you just leave it sit in the cold water right above the bottom. You use mono for the leader to the flies. It'll keep them suspended in the water column right at the walleye's height, and they do really well this time of year. So if you haven't ever used a walleye fly, they work really good in rivers. You got to have current or else they're worthless. So that's how walleye flies work.
I would be using them on a drop shot rig, I believe.
That'll work. If you're fishing in a river, the only problem with drop shot is drop shot weights tend to be more expensive than the bell weights you can get at Walmart. And if you need to get like a 1 ounce or a 3/4 ounce bell weight to keep that down to the bottom, that's probably your most economical way of doing it. Yeah, and a lot of these drop shot companies are switching over to tungsten, which costs you a fortune. And I'm not throwing tungsten weight into a mess of sticks just to or any type of structure, because I ain't losing a $5 weight. That's ridiculous.
I'm not buying that for them anyhow. I got lead and I got molds, and I'll make my own.
There you go. JG Hill says, good to see you guys. Give him hell this weekend, Lyle. I'm sure he will.
We're going to give it a shot. Thank you so much. Appreciate your support.
Matt says even a pencil weight. Lyle, I think that's all I got for this week. How about you, buddy?
I can't think of any. Well, looky here. Chad Thill showed up after we was talking about him so nicely, by the way.
I got a meme with him on there, but I'm not going to show it.
Okay. Glad to see you in here, buddy. We was telling everybody that Dee's doing well, and we are glad that she is. So that's awesome. Monday night.
Mike.
What? Hey,
Mike Irvin. What's going on, Mike?
Glad to see you, buddy. Monday night Catfish Weekly, and of course Thursday night Chad and the guys will be on over there at the big shop. Jody and Stan Friday night. I don't know who else has got what. I can't keep up with them anymore. They're every night, and I don't write it down. I'm slacking up my old age, but it's okay. If somebody wants me to mention it, they can message me, and I'll write it down so I don't forget it. That's it for me.
That's it for me. Everybody get out there, have some fishing. Hopefully this weather will change a little bit. God bless y'all, and thank you for watching.
Absolutely. See you next week.
Baby.